has his system, but he's very open to suggestions from you guys. Obviously, playing from him before. How have you seen that evolve here, if at all, and what do you like about his willingness to kind of be open to suggestions from the players?
Well, I mean, a lot of our film sessions are not just him coaching, they're conversations that happen between the group, and he has his base coverage, I guess, that is like our go-to, like what we build everything off of, and I think like preseason and some early games is where you get good at that, and then as we play other teams and teams start to run different actions, and you kind of see how our personnel guards different things better, or what we kind of just naturally do. He's open to changes and little tweaks, and a lot of times in Milwaukee, when it came to certain things that were tougher to guard, it's kind of just like there's not really a best way to guard a lot of things. There's a bunch of different ways, and so he puts a lot of trust in guys out there to make reads and kind of do what you feel. As long as you communicate and compete out there, it usually works out for the best.
You've talked about how you and Brad and Book had to take on some primary defensive matchups last year. How have you seen Brad kind of embrace that role even further to start the season so far?
I mean, he's just doing what he did to end the year last year, taking on big matchups from point guards to fours. Like, he's guarding a little bit everybody, so he's doing a great job. He competes and moves his feet and fights over screens and does a little bit of everything, so he's doing a great job for us.
What would you attribute to start? You guys started so well. What points, talking points, things you guys are going over that you like? Okay, this is why.
We've gone through some really good stretches offensively and defensively, but I don't think it's one or the other. I think we've won a lot of close games that have come down to the wire, and at the end of the game, we're executing well. We're getting stops when we need to, getting rebounds when we need to, and guys are just competing and making some winning plays. And we'll get better offensively. We'll get better defensively. Those things will clean up, and we'll kind of see our identity on both ends of the floor unfold. But early in the season, it's just about competing and closing games, and we did a really good job of that.
When you look at just last year, obviously it was a struggle in the fourth quarter. Is there anything you feel like you guys are doing differently in the fourth so far compared to last season?
We're executing a little better. I don't know if the numbers say we're turning it over less in the fourth, but it feels like we're turning it over less in the fourth. And I mean, defensively, we've given up a good amount of offensive rebounds some games, but I feel like getting timely defensive rebounds, or a timely offensive rebound, or a big bucket when we need one, or I feel like to end the game, we're not having a lot of those possessions where it stalls out and we don't get to a good look. We have to throw something up. I feel like we're getting into what we want to better and getting a good look on most possessions to end the game, and that's all you can ask for when you got guys that can make shots.
You've been a part of the big roster change last year, your second full season with the Phoenix Suns. I'm just curious, what you've witnessed, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and their chemistry over time. How do you believe that the summer, compared to when last season ended versus now, how do you think that chemistry between playing with each other has developed?
I think it just gets better over playing games, and last year we were kind of getting better and working on that continuity at the end of the year with some of the injuries we had early. So, finishing the year, I thought we finished really well, other than getting swept at the end, but regular season finished really well and kind of carried some of that continuity and momentum to preseason and starting the season. So I feel like we're definitely starting off this season at a better level than we started off last season.
Do you think the Olympics was maybe part of their chemistry growth? Do you think that had a part of it?
I have no idea. I wasn't there. Maybe.
So you have to coach, but I know you just talked about the accountability factor to spending accountable as a team.
Yeah. He just calls it like he sees it. Doesn't care who it is or you know what number with the name on their jersey, whatever it is. He doesn't care. He just in film session he calls it like he sees it, and you know whoever it is he wants to hold them accountable. Whether it's getting back on defense, head down, not making an extra pass, not setting a good screen, whatever it is, he's calling all of us out to be better and play better.
How does that help you?
I mean, you know, a lot of times, even if it's something you know how to do, having a reminder or someone kind of light that fire under you gives you a little extra edge, extra push to play a little harder. You can always find a little bit more to play harder, compete a little harder, be a little bit better in certain areas, especially the areas that aren't as much skill-based and more effort-based, like rebounding, screening, running, getting back. So all those little areas help.
So you're going up against a team tonight that both you and Bud have had lots of experience against with kind of Milwaukee. Is there anything you can take away from those series in the past and just overall their scheme and how they run things to potentially benefit you guys tonight?
A little bit. You know, they always have a certain identity, especially with Jimmy kind of leading the team and the toughness they play with offensively and defensively. But you know, I feel like year to year they've kind of evolved and they're a little bit different this year. And I haven't caught a lot of their games this year, so I don't know how different or how they've evolved again this year. But you know, you got to be ready for a little bit of a different team each year.
Royce has come in and had a major impact for you guys. What makes him so? Obviously, he's been shooting the ball really well to start the year, but what allows him to have such an impact on you?
He does a ton of little things, from rebounding to guarding different matchups to being in the right positions off ball defensively. He's a connector offensively, so the ball doesn't stop when it finds him. It's quickly moving to the next guy, or it's a shot, or it's a driving kick, or he's respacing. He just doesn't take away from any areas on our team when he's on the floor.
But how's it feel right now?
I almost don't want to comment. I mean, it is what it is. I feel like I try to play without it. I got hit again, obviously, as soon as you take that off, but just try to keep it as normal as possible, so we'll see how that goes. But it's not perfect, but also it's like playable.
Obviously, I saw your tweet to vote, and I was just curious what made you do that and just your thoughts on it.
I think it's a big thing for people to go out there and vote whatever they believe, who they want to in. I think it's a right to choose whatever that vote you want to do it, just do it, because I think it's important to go out there and vote just because of the future. I think this is the greatest country in the world, and we deserve the rights to hold that title, but also what people see as a representative and how people want to be represented. So for me, it was like as American fellow, I felt like it was important, especially the way energy and all the media and campaign. I was just a little tired of it. Like everywhere you go, and I thought it was surprisingly the votes and how many people voted, and so that's basically bottom line. The importance. I don't care who you really want to vote, but I think it's important to go out there and do it.
When you look at the threes, I'm sure you would have liked to have made a few more at this point, but is the message still, you have the green light when you're open, keep shooting it?
Oh yeah. I mean, they won them up, so definitely. I wish I was not having setbacks, but I'm gonna keep shooting open shots and good threes. Sometimes I'm gonna shoot more, sometimes less, but as long as I'm open, having those looks, I'm gonna definitely take them.
Bud, the players have talked a lot about how Bud has has his ways, but he's open to suggestion. How do you feel like communication's been in terms of what he wants you to do on the defensive end of the ball?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, everything he done this far is about communication. Like he might not be perfect, but he definitely realized what his mistake, our mistake. So I felt like from day one, we felt he's coachable. Everybody, like, he coaching everybody, and we want to be coached. So I think it's a two-way street, and I think no one so far, and I don't believe we'll have anything against that.
On a similar note, your guys' offense is much more egalitarian now than it was last year. Everybody being able to participate, screen, all of that. You play a very random style at times, but you also seem to have a lot of structure within the offense. How has Bud kind of implemented that structure with you guys? Kind of communicated that?
I mean, to me, he just saw the way we was playing and having success with the randomness, but also being organized down the stretch. And a lot of games, people thought we not might win it, and we win it, or we should lose it, and then we like whatever it my case be, we always in a game, and I think that's the beauty of our team. Like as long as you compete, and I think that's number one thing on his list. Go out there, compete, play hard, and everything else he will tolerate as much as possible.
You guys have talked too just about
I think that's amazing. I think that's to me, that's the biggest why we have success this year. I mean, early in whatever, first week or whatever that season, this feels like forever now, how many games. But this early in the season, obviously, but I think that that's my at least feeling why we have that, because he's holding accountable everyone, and that doesn't mean just a team. Like literally, whatever face you see in a building, I feel like he holds accountable. So I think that's a huge step to our organization too.
Following up from the earlier question today, you're one of the many athletes who made your message, just go, be active, and be out there. And we've seen more athletes the past couple of years be comfortable, just saying how they feel. Just, in the aftermath of last night and just the entire election process, what's your opinion just on more and more athletes, coming out and just telling people both to vote and also be comfortable with saying the rules?
I do feel it's a great honor and luxury to have that right to tell people to go to vote, but a lot of people disagree why people saying vote for this guy or vote for this. Like I think that's a choice people need to make by their own. We all want to represent the best possible. We all want the best players. We all want the best coaches. Like this media. Like I think that's the biggest one. That's why people need to go out there and vote. The majority, whatever they want to do it. We find with the democracy, right? So I disagree. Sometimes people try to say who people need to be voting for, but also the people don't do the research and then they just go by the words. And sometimes the people who are saying they're going to do something, they cannot do anything about it. And I think that's a lot of misinformation or saying a lot of wrong stuff that people don't understand what type of change need to be happen to actually achieve their goals. And I think that's education-wise. I think media could do better, educate the people what president or mayor or whatever what's their power, what they can do or what they actually can change. So I think politics is more complicated than sports, but also it's like I felt like it's a great honor to have the access to tell people you go vote and didn't have any games, and I think that was a good.
This last week, there's kind of been this a few incidents with like players in the media. We had like Embiid and KD's had his own little online stuff. I'm wondering, like, in your experience, where do you think the relationship between the players and the media has changed over time?
I mean, unfortunate thing, it's whole world like that. I feel like negativity is much better than positivity. You can change the world today, and probably will be 1 hour thing, and then somebody gonna do a bad thing, and then we'll talk for like a month. So to your question, I feel like it's unnecessary, but also it's a clickbait, right? You have people out there on social media or TVs getting a lot of money to talking shit about other people, which is crazy to me. Like, sorry for my language, but I feel like it's just inappropriate. Like, it's okay to critics. I think that's their job, and you should critic me or whoever if we don't perform, if we do something wrong. But also, I think the standard should be the same. If somebody do the wrong thing by media or by whoever, should be held accountable too. So, not involving too deep in the issues with Embiid, but family stuff is never easy, and it's mostly emotional sometimes. And if people want to bring basketball across the line to the family, that's wrong. And I'm not saying that Embiid did it right. He shouldn't do that either, but I understand why he said that and why probably he did that. But he got his penalties, so I wonder what penalties gonna people get out of involved with that. So, I think it's always two ways. It's never one way. Regardless, it's never black and white. You never play bad as you think or great as you think. So it's two ways.